Good evening and welcome to the McMuscles Midnight Massacre. So today we watched an 80s classic, The Blob. The Blob, not the game series, The Blob. Which I like. I like that. It's for kids. The Blob.
I didn't even know it was a remake till you told me. I thought the 80s was the original.
There was a 1950s one that's super cheesy,
but
with
no
like
one talks
Steve
about
McQueen.
that.
Oh, nerds do.
I guess.
Horror nerds do.
Well, we've seen the 80s one, and it was an 80s movie, horror movie that I think both of us hadn't seen.
I'd seen lots of clips from The Blob, like, over the years, and I always saw it in my VHS store.
With the cover with, like, the Blobby.
Yeah, exactly. The Blobby. The Blobby
face. Everyone knows what I'm saying.
And it's like, in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, this is a practical effects, like, classic. Like, that's why you watch it.
It was pretty good.
It was. You were impressed.
I was actually really pretty impressed with the practical effects and the special effects gore stuff or whatever.
But just to give a really basic rundown, and this movie is like at least
1988,
25 years old or more. 1988. So The Blob is
headlining a Dylan, not that Dylan, Kevin Dillon.
Yeah, seriously.
Super young though.
And there's also the guy from...
His hair is just...
The guy that explodes in RoboCop is in this movie. And he went on to be the shithole doctor from ER.
That's not important. What's important is Pete from Twin Peaks wrapped in plastic.
He is.
He has 2 lines in this movie.
Yeah.
But I was just like, it's him! It's wrapped in plastic! You're like, what? I'm like, wrapped in plastic!
And I was like, oh, right.
He's the doctor in the movie.
A very bit part. But The Blob is just basically about a meteorite hits a sleepy...
Or is it a meteorite?
I'm not sure.
Spoilers, 1980.
It hits the sleepy town. And they're all sleepy towns. No one's awake. And the Blob just goes around killing people. If you make out in cars, you're dead. If you are a chef in a diner, you're dead. And if you're just a regular guy that's just trying to go on a nice date with his girlfriend, you're also dead.
Super dead.
I felt bad for that guy.
Yeah, he was alright, you know, he was just doing his best.
Oh, I almost forgot, this stars Shawnee Smith, who was in the Ted Danson 1990 sitcom I forget the name of, and also a bunch of the shots.
Well, she went on to be like the scream queen of the Saw era. I think she was actually in a game, not a game show, like there was a reality show, TV show called like Scream Queens.
Really?
It was like a contestant show where they were trying to be the next Scream Queen or what? I don't know. I only know she hosted it.
I vaguely remember
and it was about Scream Queens, so...
She was in this and she screams a whole bunch.
And her hair is so weird to me.
It's not great.
Because it's kind of like a mullet cut where she has like a shorter layer and then a long layer. Or it just looks like someone that was like got interrupted halfway through putting in their extensions.
Yeah.
So that where their real hair ends still showed. Anyways, the whole time I'm looking at her hair, I'm like, girl, what is you doing?
She looks like the Ultimate Warrior.
Kind of. Like,
when the Ultimate Warrior had that type of haircut.
Oh, it's just this. But then I was like, okay, 88, you know, what are you going to do? Look at Kevin Dillon's hair in this movie. It is...
Yeah.
Fantastico.
Because Kevin Dillon plays...
Especiale.
He plays Rick something Flag.
Flag. Which reminds
me... He's the tough 1950s guy in the 1980s.
Well, that's a villain name that Stephen King uses a lot. Flag?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, from the Two Towers or whatever and stuff like that. So when I saw it, I'm like, but he's not the villain. He's like the rebel kid on the motorcycle.
Everyone blames him and thinks he's the villain because even though people are getting melted in this movie, they're like, that Flag.
He's the one to go after.
Because there's a bunch of authority figures running around this town trying to figure out what's going on and who's eating what. And it's very strange. It's a movie that's for almost the entire time. No one really knows what's going on. Like, the heroes, Shawnee Smith and Dylan, they kind of know that there's some weird blob going around, and that's basically it. And what I didn't realize about this movie is that, like, there are people that do know what's going on. There's a bunch of scientists that get
loose. And they show up in the suits.
And they're just like, oh, we've been tracking, like, weird biological things forever, and, like, we've been anticipating this. I'm like, you anticipated this?
Well, you forget, because at the end it's revealed, again, 80s spoiler, that it's man-made. It wasn't a meteorite. It was them testing a thing that fucked up. They sent it to space,
and
like it landed back, and it just like blobified and ate everybody.
Because you gotta kill Russia. And you can't do it without a fucking blob.
Yeah, so for me in this movie, the most impressive and / repugnant scene was the one with the guy who was a football player, friends with the guy that got owned super early on, like the nice football player.
Yeah.
And then he has like his gross pervo friend, like went parking with a girl, and he's like making her these cocktails, and he's like, "Oh, your cocktail is out." So he gets out of the car and he goes to the trunk and he opens the trunk.
Love this part.
And I was like, "That's like," and it was like a full bar in the trunk where he had
mixer.
He had a mixer. He had like a blender, and he like made her a drink that he probably was roofing her with. But whatever. And I was like, that's super impressive. But then he gets back to the car and he sees that she's already passed out. So he proceeds to try and, like, you know, violate her.
Cop a feel.
Yeah, like back in the day, like he keeps talking to her, but like little did he know she was mobbified because her face was like turned, and he's undoing her shirt to get all super rapey. But like, I was like, how did I go from being so like impressed with you that I was like, oh, I love this guy, to like, oh yeah, no, please give him the worst death you can in movies.
This Blob knew that this guy was a heel because it hid inside the woman.
Like, from this side of her, she was perfect looking. You know, her tatas were perfect.
Yeah, but then the Blobo is just like, Blob! And
surprise Blob! Which is what all rapists deserve, but like, whatever.
It just comes out of her face and he gets blobified. So there's lots of really impressive
But that trunk setup!
Yeah.
Minus like whatever roofie agent he had. I was like, oh, that's so good.
Everyone gets blobified at some point, and each scene that's a death scene has at least one or two shots. So I'm like, whoa, that looks really awesome, or that's really impressive. But the entire movie is just them running around trying to avoid the Blob.
And then like they figure out early on, but then they forget that like heat doesn't like it loves the heat, but like the cold because he attacked them in a freezer in the diner.
Yeah, when the two
like,
heroes
he retracted, and then towards the end they're like, oh, it doesn't like the cold. What can we do?
Fortunately, very early on in the movie,
they set up that it's a ski town.
Yeah, so. It's just like not today because it's summer, or it's like
it was the end of summer.
It's about to get into summer and whatever. And there's like this big man-made snow machine thing. Snow blaster.
Will that come into play later?
Well, at that point, it's smart because it actually doesn't. Because at that point, we don't even know that the Blob is weak to it.
No, I know.
So it is better than like a lot of movies nowadays that will only show it once you know that the Blob's weakness or whatever entity is running around the movie. So I was like, huh. And like as an 80s movie goes, even though there's not that much plot, there's not that much character development, not anything like that. But like the scenes of like gore and the Blob killing people are still really impressive.
We forgot about so I don't know about you guys, but me and Matt use subtitles for everything because one of us is always talking. So all our TV shows, all our movies, we always have subtitles. So for this movie, we had subtitles on. So every time the Blob was in a shot, what did it say? Slimy gurgling. Slimy gurgling.
This fucking gurgle is ruining my life.
The slimy gurgling.
Anytime the Blob does anything, if it's talking on the phone, if it's just going around slimy gurgling. When a chef,
but it's so accurate. It's so specific.
What else can
props.
It be?
You know what I mean?
When a chef is like investigating what a fucking stoppage in his sink is, it just says slimy gurgle. It's pretty funny.
It's pretty good.
I would recommend watching this with
subtitles. Put it with the closed captions. Like
now, speaking of watching it, where did we watch it? We bought it on like the Xbox Video Marketplace.
Yeah, that was the only place we could find it. We couldn't find it, unfortunately.
So I assume it's on the PlayStation Marketplace too, maybe some other ones, but it's not on Netflix right now. But you know, they beat the Blob. It's a satisfying 80s movie. It's very 80s, but you know.
Oh, and there's the Preacher too.
The Lord will give me a sign.
Oh.
Get the piece of the
Blob. It sets itself up for a
Yeah.
sequel that never happened.
Blob, there is no Blob 2?
Are you shocked?
Slimy Gurgling returns?
Are you shocked that they never even remade this movie like in the 90s or the aughts? I'm shocked. You think they would have.
You know what, now that you said it.
Yeah.
Now that you said it, someone watching this.
Maybe like a Bollywood version was made, but I don't think
Maybe that's why I forced you to watch the Creep Show too.
Just to compare it to the Blob.
So I forced him afterwards. I'm like, no, we gotta watch the one that has the raft, which kind of has a blob in it, but not really.
Not really, just a garbage bag.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Just a little bunch.
The Blob, I'd say if it's on, I'd say for like we paid not a lot on the
$4.
video marketplace. Like, yeah, $4.
If you find it at a garage sale,
hey, yeah,
you know what I mean? You're rummaging through the DVDs for $1 when there's like a street fair. Go for it.
If it ever gets added on Netflix, go for it there as well.
That's it.
But yeah, it held up a lot better because I was thinking, man, it's going to have like a few cool death scenes in that. But a lot of the dialogue was actually kind of funny.
No, it was good.
It was
I was
surprisingly
into
good.
it. For an 80s movie, I was like, pretty good.
Yeah, no. So that's the Blob. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And we'll be back tomorrow night with another McMuscles Midnight Massacre.